Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Chatty Cathy's. My name is Kathy. Tonight, I am going to review a new reality show that is on the OWN channel. It is called The Belle Collective. I am going to review the pre-premiere episode. I'm very happy about this because, at least initially, this is slated to be a show about Black female bosses in Jackson, Mississippi. They are all self made millionaires, right? But I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket because OWN has done this to me a couple of times. Um, Absolutely, Love and Marriage in Huntsville started out almost the same, where these professional Black couples were supposed to come together and revitalize a low income area. Whether they actually did that or not, we never got to see unless you looked on individual pages on social media. But as far as the show was concerned, the thing that we got caught up in was the marital trouble between Melody and her husband Martell Holt. And so I was kind of disappointed in that because these are people who are also self-made, and it seemed like it was going to be an inspiring show. And at the end of the day, it turned out not to be so inspiring. Um, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this show does not go down that same rabbit hole. So I'm going to just jump right in. But before I do, why don't you go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel? I welcome you. Please come onto this channel and talk with me about these shows. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to jump right into it. Okay, so they're showing us some scenes in Jackson, Mississippi. And for people who've not been there, I'm sure, even if you've not been there, you've heard about Mississippi, Alabama, states where racism was really at a whole high level. And they talked about the fact that they were right in there with the Black Lives Movement protest. I'm sorry, in 2020, this is 2021. In 2020, where they were, burning the Confederate flag, they were taking down statues, so they were right there, on the front grounds, just fighting for just basic human rights for the Black community. And I can't possibly be angry at that. And so they introduced us to each of the women, and for the basic um, purpose of this show, and it is a meaningful purpose. So let's get into it again. We are introduced initially to Tambra Cherie, who was born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. She is an on-air radio personality with a goal to be a full-time national host who will be interviewing people 24/7. Now, I want her to reach her goal, but the 24/7, I've had 24/7 jobs, they exhaust you. So I hope that she is able to be a national interviewer of very important people who have very important things to say to the rest of us. But I'm hoping also that she's not doing it 24/7, a true 24/7. It'll wear you out. So today, she is interviewing the mayor, and she's talking to the mayor about the fact that Mississippi rates right after New York City, and how they, again, were right there leading in the Black Lives Matter movement, taking down flags and statues. And then we go on to meet Letitia Pearson. She introduces herself as a wife, a mother, a friend. That sounds like me. I hate to say it. A CEO of a national women's empowerment brunch organization. This is an organization that supports women over brunch and entrepreneurship. She wants her goal, and this is the goal of her company, right? She wants to revitalize Ferris Street, which is an iconic district that had everything you would need. They showed us film of it in its heyday, and then they showed us footage of it now where it's boarded up stores and things like that. So her desire is to bring life back into this area, which is a very meaningful thing. Again, it sounds like Huntsville, Alabama. Um, so, Pete, ladies, don't let me down. Don't let a sister down. Her husband, Glenn, and I didn't understand. It's a couple times when I didn't understand what the women were saying because they are Southerners, and sometimes they have a little twang in there. Uh, so I believe she said her husband Glenn is a coal miner. That's what I wrote down. But at any rate, he's away from home for 2 weeks or something like that, and she's basically a single mother at that time. But she's still working very hard on her goals. And her son is young; he looks to be about 7 or 8. Cute little boy. She worries about infidelity with her husband, so she gave him, I won't say she gave him phone sex because she didn't. There was no skin, but she certainly introduced him to her breasts and let him know that they were thinking of him, which, you do what you have to do. This is nothing new to any woman who's ever been away from her man in the age of a cell phone. So let us not pretend. I'm just saying. All right, then we meet Latrice Brock, and she owns Goddess Virgin Hair. And I have to tell you this, I don't wear weaves and stuff like that, but if I did, I already have it in my head. If I did, I would want it owned by black people. Black people buy more hair than any other company. I'm sorry, any other segment of society, right? And yet, most of the hair, wigs, the things that you need, the tools that you need to do your hair and all of that, that's owned by people from Southeast Asia. Don't have a problem with Southeast Asians. Don't actually have a problem with any race or ethnicity. What I do have a problem with is that it's very difficult for black people to get into the hair business ownership wise. And that kind of makes me mad because people are getting all of these black dollars and then blocking black people out. So it turned me on that this woman owned this. She is the number one, and I don't know if it's just in Mississippi or whether that's national. I'm hoping if it's not national, I'm hoping that it goes national, and she still retains that number one position. Okay, so I heard of her, but I think I told you guys before, I'm not really good with remembering names, but I remember that there is hair sold in vending machines, and apparently that is her. Um, she also has, in her store where she sells bundles of hair, she also has people there who are installing the hair for people. So they're trying to figure out like every end of the market, which sister, yes, yes. Okay. So she's trying to talk with her employees, and they're doing, social things after work and things like that, and she wants to be included. And they know that she will probably want to come to these events, but the one gentleman says, you probably would come. We didn't invite you because you probably would come. And she's like, eh. And then her husband walked in, and he said, "That's why." So right off the bat, we get the understanding that um, the her employees don't particularly care for her husband and don't want to be around him in their private time. So her husband is 20 years her senior, and she takes him into her office and she's talking to him about the empowerment brunch. And she says there's no real, you know, female empowerment. It's saying that it's for empowerment, but she hasn't seen the empowerment. And so when she says that it's really fake, her husband says, basically that she is fake, which I think hurt her feelings, which it would have hurt my feelings. So, that was, what happened with that. That makes me look at this dude with a little cockeyed little thing, side eye on him because first of all, they may not do that fourth wall or whatever, but he knows there's a camera person there. He knows this is going to be seen nationally. And to call your wife fake is not the coolest thing he could have done. Okay. So then we meet someone, a woman after my own heart. We meet Marie, and Marie owns a mental health facility. She is the first Black woman to do so. I applaud that. I took that idea to some of my family members, um, maybe almost 10 years ago, because we have professionals, uh, different areas that would be able to, work there. And, we would, it was just, but I thought it was going to be an excellent idea. They did not agree with me. And so Marie got that. And I'm not mad. I'm just happy that a Black person has that. And why I'm happy about that, I am a psychologist, and most of my um, professional experience comes from working um in either an agency that works with people with mental health issues or in a psychiatric hospital. And I've seen the discrepancy, especially for people of color, and how people just don't listen to them all the time. And so it's a lovely thing to see a Black person doing that because I believe they would give more attention where attention is due. That's my opinion. Keeping it. All right, so Marie is married and she has children and she has grandchildren. And she's also working on a PhD. So, this right here at this moment in the show, that's my girl, right? Now, Latrice has the hair, Marie has the facility. I'm happy, right? So then Essie, is Marie's best friend, and apparently they work together. Their goal is to open other facilities throughout the state of Mississippi. That's a big deal. I have a friend who was looking. We were looking. I was looking with her for facilities in Texas. They don't really have a lot of things that maybe they have on the East Coast, right? I know that they have a lot here in Arizona, but in Texas, I was sure of it. You know what I mean? Like you've been working in the field for so long, and I was sure. I'm sure they have it. So I, start scouring, um, all of the things that I know, and I found nothing. So some of these states are missing out on helping their citizens, and that's really a travesty. So I again applaud Marie and Essie as well. Marie's mom. There's always a reason that people go into helping fields. Okay, so we learned that Marie's mother has suffered from substance abuse for years, and she plans to add a resource for to address substance abuse, and I would assume dependency as well. Um, so, again, right now, she's my girl. Okay, keep that in mind. So then we meet a young girl, right? Antoinette Lau. She is a dentist. She is the youngest one. to become a dentist at 25. And a lot of people may not realize what a big deal that is, but most people are about 22 to 23 when they get a bachelor's degree, which you have to get before you go to dental school. And so she was just on that ride. Like she did that very quickly. And she is still moving. She is buying her own practice. She has bought the property, and she has someone working on it. And she found out something that would discourage most people, because the previous owner left a lot of stuff in it, and she found out that it's going to cost her about $500,000. Now, she said that she wasn't really upset about that, but I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. And so she tells us that she's newly single. She had been in an interracial marriage with a white man, and she was saying that grandmas don't like that. I get that because she's in Mississippi, right? Very racist, historically racist. Most people are aware of that. So if she's married to a white man in a town where the Confederate flag was waving, right? Where statues of Jackson are, I'm just saying Jackson, I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure. Um, so all of that stuff, and then you have an interracial marriage. Those things don't actually go together. So I understand that she said that grandma wouldn't like that because you may not like it not because of the racial aspects of it, but because of the danger in it. Because if people are still racist as they have been always in this country, then of course it's a dangerous thing for her to be married to someone in the white race. Now, I have a lot of white people married into my family, and it's not really a big deal, but that's in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. For the most part, that's where everybody is. So, it's a northern eastern state. So it makes a difference in this country where you live, and what you can get away with. And that's all I'm saying about that. I could care less who anybody is married to. Racially, I'm pretty sure God wants us to just mix it up. I'm pretty sure of it. He does not want us to be racist. He does not want us to be prejudiced. He does not want us to be biased. He does not want us to be bigots. We're working on it. So, when the contractor, who she also is attracted to, which tells me that she has an attraction toward white men. And again, I don't care, but it just told me that. So, he's telling her about how much it's going to cost her, and she's kind of looking at him like, hmm. That's how I do it. That's how I put my Mac on. All right, so now you understand my situation. She calls her father. She FaceTimes with her father, gives him a virtual tour of the facility. And in my opinion, he has to be super proud of her. She says she doesn't, complain to him and tell him when things are going, askew. Of course, he will be upset. That's his daughter. And so she protects him. And as she is a young girl, a young woman, I'm sorry, as she is young, all of that, like buying a house at her age, is a daunting task, right? Because you don't know all of the ins and outs of it. But buying something that's going to cost you $500,000 just to get it together so you can run your practice in it, that's a really big deal. So she has a lot on her plate. Then we meet. Wait a minute. Nope. That's all the women. So then we see Letitia at a restaurant the day before the brunch, and she's looking for a host. And then Tambra comes over and joins her at the restaurant, and she gives her a hat bribe, right? Because she wants her to be the host, so she buys her a hat. Everybody's wearing fascinators and hats, apparently. So she says, if I could, I would, but I really can't make it this time. And so she takes the no kind of and just goes about her business. We are then taken to a Porsche dealership, and we see Antoinette looking at a car. She's going to buy herself a car. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just told you she has this big project, right? Of her own practice. And now she's buying a Porsche, right? So she's looking at this, she's looking at that, and then Latrice meets her as a support, and they say, "Oh, you're going to buy the divorce Porsche, get it?" And they start laughing and stuff, and they discuss the brunch and what they should expect from the brunch. And I think that nobody really knows what to expect, so they leave it there. So then we are taken to seeing Letitia preparing for the brunch by getting her hair and makeup done by, I would assume, professionals. And then we're taken over to Latrice, who is also doing the very same thing. And she questions if going to this brunch is really going to leave her feeling empowered. She then FaceTimes Antoinette, who's doing her own makeup, right? So I paid attention to that, that she was doing her own makeup because that's a more humble situation. That's what I would be doing as well because she has a lot of money out there working for her, right? And she's not wasting her money. So I call Antoinette the smart one. No offense to the other women, but this is a chick who's doing her own makeup. And to pay for someone to come and do your makeup, I'm not sure that in my mind it makes a lot of sense. In my mind, not in everybody else's life, in my mind up here. So then we see Marie, who is planning to wear what I wrote down as a unique outfit. The reason I said it was a unique outfit is that it has a huge hat and an outfit that really hollers out Southern Belle. The problem I had with this outfit is that it hollers out historic Southern Belle when at this time in this era in our country, black women were they were either enslaved or just out of enslavement. And so I don't really understand what she was trying to prove with that. But not that she came and asked me, but that I'm just giving my opinion because this is my review. I think that she didn't think that all the way through. So she bought some hair and she says that the hair is hard and crunchy and it cost her $600. She says it is Latrice's hair. She plans to confront Latrice once she gets to the breakfast. She called her hair garbage. Okay. So then we are taken to the Country Club of Jackson for the brunch. And the women are dressed up with hats or fascinators. And Antoinette feels underdressed. She and Latrice are both kind of wearing regular clothes, which, by the way, I would have too. If they said it was supposed to be like a Southern Belle kind of thing, I might have put on a dress and maybe a little hat or something. Um, but all of that, like the hoop skirt and all of that was a lot. It was a whole lot. So Marie makes an entrance as this Southern Belle. She has this stuff on, and Antoinette is hiding her laughter because she's sitting right across from her, and she answered, what inspired that? And she said that she really wanted to be a Southern Belle. So I think the whole of it kind of escaped her, and it is what it is. Um, the ladies look. She Letitia has them they have hand mirrors and she has them to look and say positive affirmations to themselves. And some of them are saying, no, I think that was Latrice, saying that I know I'm beautiful. I know who I am. I don't need to look in the mirror and tell myself. So she found that to be something that was not worthwhile, and for the other women, perhaps it was worthwhile. I know that there's been a lot of talk in this country about black women and whether or not black women are at all attractive. There was a study done that said black women were the least attractive in this country. So, that being said, speaking positive affirmations can do some good for black women. So, Latrice reminds them that no, no, no. I'm getting ready to skip something that was kind of important. So let me back up. So Latrice is sitting across the table from Marie, and she's sitting next to Antoinette. Okay, and Marie tells Latrice that she bought some hair, and she does like this. Is this your hair? And she says, no, that's not my hair. And she says, no, I bought it from your store. So they keep going back and forth and things like that. And I thought at this time that they were just talking to one another because they know each other, but they had never met one another before. That's not how you meet people, Marie. You work in mental health, honey. You know better. Get that together. How about that? Now, if you thought that that was her, you were sure that you bought her hair and you were not happy with it, the important thing, the proper thing, would be to pull her aside and tell her, how the hair was and allow her to correct the problem. You don't do it in front of everybody. And, Latrice was so uncomfortable after this confrontation that she just asked Antoinette to go, and then they left. And this was before Letitia had an opportunity to tell the ladies why she had gathered them all there. So that was unfortunate. And that is the end of the pre-premiere episode of the Belle Collective. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please come back and we'll review this show until you tell me not to, perhaps. Also, there's a couple of other own shows that I would like to work on. There's something about the Bravo reality shows that's starting to get on my nerves really bad. And it is just a pink at some racism in there, or some undercurrent of race in there that I'm not really as comfortable with as I should be. That being said, I'm trying to find some other avenues where that is not an issue. Doesn't mean I'm not going to review, Real Housewives of Atlanta or whatever, but it just means that I'm looking at other avenues. If you guys know of any shows that you would like to have reviewed, please put it down there in the comments section as you are liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you, and I will see you guys soon. Be blessed.